Welcome back to Let's Bake Together. In today's episode, we're going to be making something called Poh Day Crem, or Chocolate Brûlée is what my mom called it growing up. The ingredients that you're going to need today are milk, 2 eggs, sugar, chocolate chips of your choice, vanilla, and you're going to need a pinch of salt. You also need a blender and a spatula, a 1 cup measuring cup, a 1 tablespoon measuring spoon, a microwave safe measuring cup that can be at least 1 cup, and then you're going to need something to put your Poh Day Crem in. You can put it in individualized mugs, you can put it in glass cups or those little, parfait glasses. I don't have any right now to pull out, or you can put it in a ramekin, or you can put it in a mason jar. You know those little tiny mason jars that are for like a half a pint? They're adorable. This is a wonderful gift to give to your neighbors or anybody that you want to love you forever. And so if you can put them in those little guys and then you put a little ribbon around them and tell people how much you love them, like this is a great teacher appreciation gift. It would be awesome on Mother's Day. Oh my word, this is so delicious. It's kind of like a mousse. If you want a whipped mousse, okay, not like a mousse like, horns and antlers or whatever they're called, but like a mousse, M-O-U-S-S-E, not the kind you put in your hair, but the other kind that you eat, and it's good for you. Well, not really good for you, but it's good to eat. Anyway, if you want it to be whipped, you can always add a stabilized whipping cream, which Our Best Bites, which is my favorite recipe blog, they have a great recipe for stabilized whipped cream. But you can just fold that right into this, and it would be an amazing whipped mousse. It's great on a cake. It's great as a filling in a cake. My word, you can just use this as amazing things. But today we're going to use it as a creme brulee. I don't mean a creme brulee, a chocolate brulee or a Poh Day Crem. Generally, what I will do is put whipping cream on the top of it and maybe some fresh raspberries or fresh strawberries. Oh my word, it is so delicious. This recipe takes about 5 minutes to put together, but then it has to sit for a few hours before it is ready. So it's one you need to prepare in advance, not a last minute thing. All right, so here we go. Let's get started. Pull out your blender, and you're going to put in 1 cup of chocolate chips. I'm using dark chocolate chips because my daughter said, why not? And that is the truth of all things. Why not? It's chocolate, and all chocolate is better if it's dark. So there is 1 cup of chocolate chips. The next thing I'm going to need is a tablespoon of sugar. And then I want a pinch of salt because all chocolate needs a little salt in order to bring out the true chocolate flavor. So a pinch of salt in there. I'm actually that was a skimpy pinch. So there we go. All right. Then I'm going to need a teaspoon of vanilla. I just really like vanilla, so I'm going to squirt. There we go. Now I'm going to take my 2 eggs and I'm going to crack them right into here. Now I realize as I'm doing this, I'm doing it a little out of order. It would be better if I had put my milk in a microwave right now. If you don't have a microwave, you're going to need to bring your milk to a boil over the stove. Otherwise, I'm going to pour my milk into my microwave safe measuring cup. 1 cup of milk, and I am going to pop this in the microwave. All right, I'm going to put it in there for 1:30 and see how that takes us. It needs to be hot. I don't want it to be burned. I do not want to scald it too much, but I do want it to be very hot because it needs to melt this chocolate completely. Now, dark chocolate is not going to melt as easily as if you were going to use, say, milk chocolate. Milk chocolate melts very quickly, so I need to make sure that I have it hot enough to melt my dark chocolate. While my milk heats, I'm going to put my milk back in the fridge. It is important to make sure you follow food safety guidelines and keep your cold things cold and your hot things hot. I also have a minute so I can clean up. I'm going to put my vanilla away, my sugar, throw my eggshells away. All right. I also want to make sure that I have my cups ready to go. I'm not entirely sure how much this is going to make because I usually make a big batch. So I'm going to start by filling these mugs. These are personalized mugs that my nieces and my nephews made for us for Christmas. And I figure my daughter and I really deserve to have this because we're the ones working on this video. So why not put them in labeled cups? Nobody else will eat them, right? Perfect. So I'll start with those, and if I have leftovers, I will fill my glass jars or cups. Okay, my microwave beeped. Yours probably did too. I'm going to take a look at it. All right. Now, one thing I realized when I popped this in the microwave, and you're going to find cooking isn't perfect, and it isn't like clean. It's messy, and you make mistakes, and you learn from it, and sometimes you totally have a disaster. I realized this is going to be pretty hard to boil in this little tiny measuring cup because look, I hardly have any room left on the top. So I really should have used my 2-cup measuring cup. But I am going to just take the temperature of this just to give you a guideline of how hot it got in only a minute and a half. Here it goes. I don't know if you can see that. Rise, rise, rise. So we are at 147 degrees. I'm going to pop it in for about 45 seconds more. If you're going to make this for a big crowd, I tend to make this, I triple the batch. So I do 3 cups of chocolate chips, 6 eggs, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 3 cups of milk. The thicker the milk, the creamier this is going to be. If you want to use cream, you can. Otherwise, whole milk is next step, then 2%, then 1%, and if you have to get by with skim, you can, but you really want to try using the thickest milk you can, so skim and 1% aren't nearly as good, but it totally is possible. All right, let's see, that's about to be. All right, my little girls are singing down the stairs. Here they come right into the room. All right, now this does have a skim on it because it is totally ready. And now I'm going to pour this straight into my blender. Okay, and now I'm going to blend it quickly. So you're going to blend on high. I'm going to turn mine back on, but you want to blend for a full minute. So keep it blending so it really gets mixed up. All right, so now let's pop this open. And there you have it. All right, now I'm going to pour that. All right, now I'm just going to pour this straight into this mug. Now I don't want to go to the very top because the rest of that is going to be filled up with whipping cream. And it's going to look so divine. Okay, yeah, 2 full cups for me and my daughter. And then, you know, whoever else wants to try it, they can have a little bit too. So normally, I don't make it in a huge mug. I make it in a smaller ramekin or a smaller, even a smaller little bowl than that. And so this would probably make 4 or 5 smaller containers, but I wanted to have more. So now we're gonna have this much. Otherwise, double, triple, quadruple the batch as much as you want to, as much as your blender can hold. Now you're gonna need to put this in a fridge. You're gonna leave it in the fridge for 4 to 6 hours or overnight. This is going to firm up completely. Right now, as you saw, it's completely liquid, but it's gonna become so firm. It's gonna be almost like, you know how Jell-O gets firm? It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be very stable. At that point, you're gonna top it with whipping cream, fresh fruit, and enjoy it. It's gonna be awesome.